Okay. Hi, Lauren. Thanks a lot for the presentation and sharing your experience. Um, the first question would be how you came up to all this, I mean, new ecosystem, new establishment of network states, intentional communities, new countries, all this. I mean, please share your personal journey to this.
Hmm. Yeah, so I grew up as the child of a refugee from Iran to the UK, and also the youngest of seven children, my father. So I spent a lot of time growing up traveling around to different places in the world, experiencing the kind of mixing of cultures and multiculturalism. So that was all very familiar to me. I also obviously grew up on the internet and began connecting in that way with other people. I think it was this combination of multicultural experiences and a passion and interest in the internet and what technology could bring us kind of brought me to this network state space.
Oh, that's a very interesting journey, definitely. Um, how you, I mean, how you got connected to Plumia? I mean, so that idea, how it came to you, and of course the team members. I mean, please share a bit about Plumia. How you created it, you co-founded it. I mean, that is very, that should be very interesting to the audience.
Sure. So Lumia came about in December 2020 as a result of a hackathon within Safety Wing, which is the company that makes Plumia's work possible and kind of came up with the idea of Plumia as a network state. And from Team Hackathon, the concept kind of came. And then we sort of shared it. Safety Wing shared it with the world to see if other people were interested in getting involved. That was like the very foundational beginnings, I guess, of bringing our online community together of digital nomads, expats, global citizens, to start to conceptualize and think about the future of an internet country based on that. Um, I personally became involved and joined the team because I wrote a book about digital nomads and the kind of future of global mobility. And my CEO at Safety Wing, Sondre, read that book and basically said to me, "Do you want to come and build some solutions to the problems that you've identified? You want a job?" So that's how I kind of came into the project, and I really came in with this nascent online community, this kind of like bunch of people with a lot of energy and ideas, and had to figure out how we route that to creating successful outcomes, creating products, etc. And Safety Wing's a very product-oriented company, so it made a lot of sense to try and build on that strength, that competency in how we were going to tackle this, which is where the Nomad Border Pass, the kind of multi-country visa platform, where that concept came from. Like, how can you conceptualize this as like a product and a platform today with the vision in the future of delivering a passport and being called a fully fledged internet country?
Wow, very interesting, amazing. And how do you see um, this path forward? I mean, do you see that like this digital nomad community is kind of going to gain a momentum, like for example, throughout the world one day, very soon? I mean, these digital passports, nomad passports, I mean, will be accepted. I mean, how do you see it? I mean, because you also covered about diplomacy during your presentation. How do you see this passport? I mean, visa issues. I mean, do you see that in the end of the day, very soon or in the coming future, the countries, the nation states are going to accept it? The majority of them, at least.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, our kind of our kind of vision is of a much more kind of flexible and open system of global mobility. And actually, there are a lot of benefits to that for countries, for conventional nation states, as well as for internet countries, internet country citizens. So I think digital nomads are a really interesting early adopter demographic. So they were early adopters of remote work. They were early adopters of sort of work from anywhere as well. And so it sort of makes sense in my mind that they'd also be early adopters of network states and internet countries. because essentially they are at the front line brushing up against the current systems and experiencing the problems if you're trying to live your life on the frontier, if you're trying to live borderless. I think it's really, really crucial that we're able to work with existing nation states, because if we're going to kind of, we really prioritize the user and how we think about things at Plumia. And if we want to improve things for digital nomads today or in the next few years, it's completely necessary to work with governments who are the ones kind of restricting global mobility and sort of trying to understand like everybody's incentives. Since 2020, since the pandemic, we've seen now more than 60 countries launch digital nomad visas. Like, nation states are looking to attract top global talent, of which nomads are one part. I think everything that we can do to kind of lean into that momentum to open up global mobility, not only for the ultra wealthy who can sort of buy new passports whenever they want right now, or the global middle class of digital nomads, but also for refugees and stateless people. I think that's the magic of an event like this, is bringing together people who together, if they kind of bring their ideas and their tools together, can solve problems, not just for a wealthy elite, but also for kind of the whole of humanity.
Very interesting and amazing. What I'm interested in is also about this, like diaspora movements, like ethnic groups in different parts of the world. Do you think that they are going to play a major role also in this digital nomadism movement, because of because they had to leave the country, or because of the economic circumstances, historical circumstances? Because I'm from Armenia, you are from Iran, so we understand what we talk about, especially about leaving the country and living outside. So do you think these diaspora communities will impact on this huge global movement?
I think there's a really clear connection between diaspora communities and network states, in the sense that this kind of idea, I think it originates with Balaji, but the idea that internet countries are kind of a reverse diaspora. So at the moment, if you take Armenia or Iran, you have a sort of geographic landmass, and you have people sort of leaving that landmass, taking their culture, their rituals, their traditions, everything somewhere else, and kind of starting a new community. So this is like a conventional diaspora. You have people starting in one place in one country and then going to create pockets around the world. I think what we see with network states is that the pockets emerge first. So you have these small kind of communities, whether that's a co-working space or a building, or a kind of hacker house or a co-living community. You have people coming together in these smaller kind of constellations, pop-up villages or a slightly bigger constellation, and then you kind of have them deciding what they can do with that energy and that kind of sense of community. So I definitely agree with that conceptualization. The internet countries or network states are very much like reverse diasporas. But I think it's very interesting to think about the different kind of sets of interests that are out there, and the different kinds of problems that network states can solve. I certainly think countries with very strong diaspora communities are sort of a little bit further towards the internet country vision of the future than we think.
And the last question, that is like the continuation of what we have been discussing now, is about: do you think it's actually possible to build network state in Asian countries? Well, Armenia, Iran, put aside also other countries, like in China, India, this big, because we are talking about the half of the world. The population. So, do you think it's possible to build network state, like establishments there, or not? Because they are kind of passive as of now, considering the number of network states and this type of project that we have in the West. But how you see the future regarding this aspect of Asia?
So I suppose I don't really see geographic divides with it. I very much see internet citizens everywhere. And certainly I've spent a lot of time, especially in Southeast Asia, a little in South Asia as well. But I certainly don't see any intrinsic difference between that part of the world and Western countries when it comes to pursuing these ideas, to building network states. I do think that there's a bit of a split of ecosystems in the world. So it's like I have no doubt there are groups of people like us here also meeting up in Kuala Lumpur and Singapore, etc. But often when things are happening in other parts of the world, if it's not your London or your New York or your San Francisco, word doesn't spread so far online about what's happening. So, I've encountered quite a few people working in the space in Southeast Asia. And so, yeah, I have just as high hopes for those countries as I do for European countries.
Very interesting. And well, I hope that together we are going to build a better future for the world. And thank you a lot and good luck. And let's see how we move forward together. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Thank you.